As a child, I was captivated by the bizarre yet intriguing world of Smile Time. The characters, with their eerily expressive masks, inhabited a world that felt both familiar and otherworldly. Smiley, with his perpetual grin, was the leader, always ready for an adventure. Crybaby, his droopy eyes and teary demeanor, was the group's reluctant participant, constantly fearful yet endearing. Grumpy's furrowed brows and scowling mouth reflected his perpetual dissatisfaction with everything around him. Spooky, the only female character, had a mask that depicted shock, her wide eyes and open mouth giving her a permanently startled expression. The episodes were simple, usually involving the characters embarking on mundane adventures that quickly spiraled into absurdity. They might start with something as benign as planting a garden or building a tree house, but by the end, they were facing bizarre and often frightening challenges. Despite the dark undertones, the show was hypnotic. The odd juxtaposition of cheerful scenarios with unsettling visuals created a unique charm that kept me coming back. Parents, however, were less enchanted. They found the characters' soulless black eyes and grotesque mouths disturbing, expressing concern about the show's impact on children. Looking back, I can see why there was something deeply unsettling about those masks. The expressions never changed, even when the characters were clearly in distress. It was as if their faces were frozen in time, a stark contrast to their animated bodies. Despite these concerns, Smile Time was wildly popular among kids. It had a substantial viewership, and merchandise sales were through the roof. The studio seemed to be on the verge of something big, but then, almost overnight, it all came crashing down. The show was canceled, the studio shut its doors, and Smile Time faded into obscurity. Years later, as an adult, my curiosity about the show was reignited. I found myself scouring the internet for any information I could find about Smile Time. However, my search yielded little. The studio had vanished without a trace, leaving behind scant evidence of its existence. No official records, no comprehensive Wikipedia page, just fragments of information scattered across obscure forums. Then, during a routine visit to a local garage sale, I stumbled upon a dusty old VHS tape with the familiar Smile Time logo. My heart raced with excitement and trepidation. Could this be a recording of the elusive show? I bought it for a pittance, eager to relive a piece of my childhood. The tape itself was unremarkable, its label faded and peeling. But when I played it, I was transported back to those strange, captivating episodes. The animation was cruder than I remembered, the colors more muted. The characters move with a jerky, almost unnatural fluidity. Yet there was no denying it. This was Smile Time. I began to research the studio that produced the show, hoping to uncover more about its mysterious demise. What I found was chilling. Several employees had gone missing on the studio grounds shortly before it closed. The official reports were vague, filled with bureaucratic language that offered no real answers. Unsettled but undeterred, I continued my investigation. I decided to sell the tape on eBay, hoping to attract other enthusiasts who might share my curiosity. The response was immediate. Within hours, I received several offers. Most were mundane, typical transactions. but one message stood out. The sender warned me in no uncertain terms to destroy the tape before something terrible happened. Their words were filled with urgency and fear, but I dismissed it as a prank. However, strange occurrences around my house started. The noises outside grew louder, more insistent. I set up a camera to capture whatever was causing the disturbances, but it was destroyed within a day. Frustrated and on edge, I reviewed the footage. It showed shadowy figures lurking in the darkness, their faces obscured by masks eerily similar to those worn by the Smile Time characters. I began to experience vivid nightmares. In one, I was a child again, wandering through a twisted version of the Smile Time world. The characters were there, but their expressions were twisted into grotesque parodies of their former selves. Smiley's grin was a rictus of pain, Cribby's tears were blood, Grumpy's scowl was a mask of rage, and Spooky's shocked expression was one of genuine terror. I woke up drenched in sweat, the echoes of their haunting laughter ringing in my ears. The situation escalated when I learned that the person who told me to destroy the tape had been brutally murdered. Their home was ransacked, and the police had no leads. The news hit me like a punch to the gut. My mind raced with possibilities. Could this be connected to the tape? Was it possible that the curse was real? Desperate for answers, I delved deeper into the online theories. One particularly chilling theory suggested that the Smile Time suits were more than just costumes. According to this theory, the suits could become new bodies through a blood sacrifice, allowing the wearer to inhabit them indefinitely. It sounded absurd, but given the increasingly bizarre events surrounding me, I couldn't dismiss it outright. I reviewed the footage from my broken camera again. This time I noticed something I hadn't seen before. In the background, barely visible, was a figure wearing a mask that looked exactly like Smiley's. My heart pounded in my chest as I realized the implications. These weren't just random intruders. They were somehow connected to the show. The next few days were a blur of paranoia and fear. I barely slept, jumping at every noise. I barricaded myself in my house, but the sense of being watched never left me. One night, as I was packing the tape for its beer, I saw movement outside my window. This time, I knew it wasn't my imagination. I grabbed a baseball bat and went outside, ready to confront whoever or whatever was out there. But when I got outside, I found nothing but darkness and silence. That night, I wrote an update to the beer of the tape and told them that I will be throwing the tape away, and I wrote a note along with the tape, hoping to warn whoever might find it. My hands trembled as I typed, the sense of impending doom growing stronger with each passing minute. The tape must remain lost. Watching it seems to invite malevolent entities into our world. I could not bring myself to destroy the tape out of fear, so I'll just throw it away. As I hit send, I heard a crash downstairs. My heart leapt into my throat. I grabbed the baseball bat and slowly made my way down the stairs. The house was dark, the only light coming from the street lamps outside. I moved cautiously, trying to control my breathing. In the living room, I saw them, 3 figures, their faces obscured by the familiar masks of Smiley, Crybaby, and Grumpy. They stood motionless, their black eyes staring at me. For a moment, we were all frozen, the air thick with tension. Then they moved, slowly, deliberately. They advanced towards me. I swung the bat, but it passed through them as if they were made of smoke. Panic surged through me as I realized I was dealing with something far beyond my understanding. I turned and ran, but they were everywhere. No matter where I went, the masked figures were there, their presence suffocating. I could hear their voices, a distorted chorus of the familiar Smile Time characters. I locked myself in my room, typing out this final document in a desperate attempt to warn whoever might find it. The tape must remain lost. Watching it seems to invite malevolent entities into our world. As I hear the intruders getting closer, I know my time is running out. Goodbye. Authorities found the house in disarray, with no sign of the document's author. The camera footage revealed haunting images of shadowy figures, their faces obscured by grotesque masks. Despite a thorough investigation, no trace of the intruders was ever found. The Smile Time tape disappeared, its whereabouts unknown. Rumors about its curse spread, and the few who claimed to have seen it reported eerie encounters and unexplainable phenomena. The legend of Smile Time grew, becoming a chilling piece of lost media lore. Those who knew of its existence either stayed silent or warned others to steer clear, lest they too attract the sinister forces that had claimed yet another victim. Thank you for tuning in. Please leave a like and subscribe, and special thanks to Tyler Ferrari for submitting their story. I will see you again next week.